But I know that recently the Vice President, Yemi Osibanjo, challenged Nigerians to build a nation they'll be proud to bequeath to the coming generation. Does it lie in the hands of ordinary Nigerians to build a dream Nigeria?
Well, it lies in the hands of Nigerians. But we know that the fish rottens from the head. And what I mean by that is that those at the top should at least live by example, not just by preaching. But whatever they do, they should show Nigerians that this is the way, and then Nigerians will follow them. But if you just talk without showing them that you care for them, it will be difficult to carry people along, and they may not find it necessary to do what you are saying. So I believe all of us must join hands. But those at the top should show the way first.
So whatever they want us to do, they should start first. Or what do you say?
Just like a follow-up, it takes two to tango. The leaders and the followers. You cannot make a good nation if it is a one-sided issue. The two people must be there, which is the leaders must lay foundation. Then the followers will now follow up on that foundation.
Leading by example, you mean?
Yes. The leaders have to develop a system whereby the people, anybody who is a Nigerian, will now go towards those foundations that have developed and now move by it. Like
what you see on the screen.
Of course.
All
hands are together. Just like
it's a teamwork.
Yes,
it's a teamwork.
Saying that all hands must be on deck.
It's like a football.
To move.
If the goalkeeper is there, no, it doesn't do anything. The people will score. If the man at the middle doesn't pass his ball, he's just waiting for it to come. Nothing will happen. So both followers and the leaders must do something.
Okay, viewer, you are watching us. The number is on your screen. You have to ask questions or make contribution. Building Nigeria of our dream. What is the Nigeria of your dream? Call and tell us and let us know. Okay, now let's go to the foundation now. Is this Nigeria we are looking at, is it in tandem with the foundation, how it was led for? So let's start from
yeah, if you look at the history of Nigeria, in 1914, we don't have to go backward. In 1914, a man known as Lord Lugard joined this country, North and South. And from that joining, from 1920s, we started to have what we call nationalism. The nationalists, what the people you call our founding fathers, started to agitate that Nigeria should be given independence, or at least self-rule. And then from there, we started having political parties. In 1944, NCNC...
the future leaders.
Okay. So the NCNC...
one of the ways Nigeria wants to...
NCNC was formed, followed by Action Group, and then Northern People's Congress and the rest of them. From that moment of formation of parties, they started jostling from east to west to north and south in order to make a great Nigeria. Many of them were not interested in having a great one nation. But somebody like Azikiwe was more interested in having a united Nigeria. And then at a point, they went to conferences, they went to constitutional conferences and what have you. And at that point, we were given independence, hoping that Nigeria will be better out of it. So when you now check all those stages we passed through and we've been passing through, we notice that our people thought that if given the independence to control ourselves, to govern Nigeria, that we'll be able to make a better Nigeria.
But you say that many of them were not interested in becoming
yes, because
one nation. Does that mean that we are fully amalgamated to become one nation?
Yes, if we are going to, if we are becoming academic, we notice that some of them called Nigeria a mere geographical expression. Some of them said they had no interest in big Nigeria. People from the north, we are categorical about that.
Really?
Yes, they were. I have evidence to show that people like Ahmadu Bello and the rest of them.
And do you think is the reason why we have not been able to build the Nigeria of our dream?
Well, when it comes to that, there are other big nations that are even bigger than Nigerians who are moving forward. Actually, our problem was not actually from those pre-Nigeria independence struggle. Our problem today was just actually because the people who are the leaders of this country have not been able to tell themselves the truth. We have not been able to lay that foundation as I pointed out. Because when you look at the way things are moving, presently, at times you start to ask yourself, that independence those leaders fought for in those days, was it worth Because you look at what is going on in this country, it appears as if we are not even ready to lead ourselves. Some people will be at the north agitating for one thing or the other. Some people will be at the west agitating for one thing or the other. And it's the same thing. If you go across the length and breadth of this country, you will see that the country is actually not interested in moving ourselves forward. But we are praying that in a near future, if the present crop of leaders we have today can now isolate what went maybe during the war, during the pre-independence struggle, because of some people felt that they were not yet matured, that they were lumped together. Because of it, they cannot bring out their best for us to move forward. They can now integrate the crop of leaders we have now and move the country forward.
Yeah.
Now, Prof, based on what you say, you gave us a chronicle of how we started the foundation, and comparing how we started and comparing it to what we have now. Where do we have it? Where do we have the disconnect?
Well, we didn't start well. There's no doubt about that. The British that came had the policy of divide and rule from the word go, disconnecting the north from the east from the west, and whatnot, and that has been affecting us. In 1952 or thereabout, we had elections in Nigeria, and the NCNC won clear cut in the west. All of a sudden, we had the cross carpeting, what they called it in those days. And people who were majority, exactly, people who were in NCNC had to move to action group and form government of the day instead of NCNC. So we have seen a situation where even our founding fathers did not even make up their mind to have a united Nigeria. But we are now one Nigeria, just like I said. We must have to forge forward. So, and
how long are we going to be in this kind of unholy marriage whereby I don't want you to marry me and we are forced to stay together?
Well, he has said that we have big nations. America, what we need is a leadership that is caring, that has vision, that can turn our psyche. We need a lot of education from primary. You know, see a situation. I'm
talking of education, you come from the academic background, and some people have advocated that we would teach patriotism in basic and the higher level of education. Do you think that will help?
That will help from the scratch, not even higher education. You don't have to teach somebody who has.
Yeah, I said from basic.
Yes, from the scratch, from the primary school. You have to tell people that we are one. We have to gain in our bigness. There is joy. There is whatever we can gain from being one Nigeria. There's no doubt about that. But when you allow people to grow and then make up their mind, like we fought the war, 1967 to 1970, people who did not witness the war, people who are even 1980 or 90-something, they were born, they are now championing the issue of going back to Biafra, because we have not been, carrying them along. We have not been telling them what happened.
So where is the disconnect?
The idea of one Nigeria.
What is the disconnect?
Well, the building Nigeria of our dream. That's what we're talking about. When you look at some issues, for instance,
the disconnect.
The disconnect. When in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, we have what then was MANSA, which metamorphosed to the NOA, National Orientation Agency. All these agencies are the people who are supposed to be on the ground to give reoriented Nigerians, because I believe that where we had the disconnect was the interregnal of the 1983 Q to 1999, when there was a military rule. And within those days, it was the time we started having development, political developments. And people were not acquainted with the developments of the day. They now came into this Fourth Republic with a lot of mindset. And since then, it has been our problem. But if National Orientation Agency will bring out time, go through the length and breadth of this country, give people political orientation, social orientation, economic orientation, I believe even a woman in the remotest village in this country will understand that we have to set the country in a very good path.
So, Prof, are you of the opinion that the disconnect is a result of not giving proper...
We have said that, but the disconnect is not being able to enthrone justice in the land, not being able to accommodate people, not seeing it from, not being empathic, that is seeing it from another person's point of view. A situation where you now take Nigeria as a winner takes all. You now win, and then the next of us can go to hell. If you now win an election and know that you are into governance, and then you are now here to bring everybody together.
Recently, the governor of Sokoto State, Anambra, was hosting NYSC members that were posted to his state, and he told them one basic thing that is trending now: reject prison yard democracy if you want to build a nation of your dream. What do you think he means by that statement?
Well, what that means is that we are not yet practicing democracy. That's the starting point. But we should also remember the idea of NYSC. Why was it formed in the first instance? After the war, or before the war, one of the reasons people are dissed for civil war was that there was so much what they call tribalism, in quote, or ethnicity. A situation where you feel an Igbo, a Hausa, a Yoruba, and that kind of thing. And so by 1973, Gowon felt that how do we now unite Nigerians, starting with the students, so that they'll be able to understand that this is one Nigeria. That was the dream of Gowon, and dream of in those days. That's the issue. Now we have witnessed the Second Republic, 1979 to 1983. What, we are saying we had the third, this is the fourth. 1991 to 1993 should be the third. Even some people are contesting whether we have a third. And then the other one is the Fourth Republic. Since 1973 till now, what have we done in terms of democracy? We had a lot of break. We had a lot of gaps, which the leaders have not been able to fill.
Now, building this Nigeria, you were saying something, but it's like...
No. He has not answered the question raised by Tom Bauer. He was talking about prison yard democracy. And so you have to ask the question, what are the features or principles of democracy? The basic features are the issue of participation by members of society, the issue of the rule of law, the issue of freedom. These are the basic, and so many other things, accountability.
And if these ones are not there, is that when
exactly when you are in
democracy
and you are free, you are not free to move about, you are not free to criticize the government, you are not enjoying your freedom generally, you are not part of the system. So what is democracy? Okay. And that is why the woman is saying that the youth should talk.
All right, thank you.
Okay, hello, who is here? Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're speaking with Prince
sorry, you say your name is?
Prince Ikogu from Isulu.
Ikogu from Isulu.
Go ahead.
I greet your moderators.
You're welcome.
You are having a vibrant topic.
Good.
So what I'm contributing this morning, the aims of our founding fathers have been eroded with defeat. We are not practicing democracy. The elite that we are looking forward to copy from have been bastardized the system with hijacking of conscience of people with money. So what I'm trying to say now is that the way forward that what is happening in Nigeria today, to communicate to, if we are really committed to that democracy, is a real turnaround. Like Achebe said, that the things are falling apart and the center can no longer hold.
Thank
if
you.
we are committed and patriotic enough to hold on to our destiny, Nigeria will return back to its past glory.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know that some people say that 1999 Constitution is the problem. Why some others say that implementation of the confab, is the problem. So which one? What do we do to make sure that we build a nation, a desired nation? Is it the implementation or going back to review the 1999 Constitution? What do we do?
Well, coming to the issue of the 1999 Constitution, we're not saying that we should isolate the Constitution. The issue is that our leaders, people, because of vested interest, a lot of people have in the spheres of governance, they have not been able to bring out their mind, do things that will favor the ordinary citizen of this country. For instance, we are talking about constitutional review. Look at pre-1990, 1999 to 2007. Most of the governors then, presently, some of them, about half of them, are in the Nigerian Senate today. And in those days, let's take the issue of local government autonomy as an example. When they were governors, at the initial period they became governor, there was local government autonomy. After some time, some laws were modified and local government was clipped to the hands of the state governors. Now, when they go to National Assembly, because they have left offices as governors, they are now clamoring for local government autonomy. While our people who are present-day governors today are rejecting it, fighting for it, thinking that these offices are the offices you can stay, the highest you can stay in those offices are 8 years. You now go out. Why is it that you are not interested to make law that will strengthen democracy?
So what do we do?
What we need to do, like I always plead for Nigerians, to now come back, develop those institutions, help their various states' house of assemblies, help their representative in National Assembly, tell them that this is what they are going to do, amend those laws that will affect the ordinary life of our
Prof, are you allowing yourself to that?
Implementation of the CONFAB?
Exactly. I think the implementation is very, very important. If we have the CONFAB of 1940, even though many of us don't have the copy, but if we put those things into action, that would be better. So I believe that implementation is more important than just having constitution.
Okay, now finally, now that we want to go, 2015, PDP left because people don't have confidence in them again, and they choose APC. APC is now, most of them are defecting to PDP. Do you think that is healthy to build a good and better Nigeria of our dream? Let me start with you.
Well, it's neither here nor there, the way I tell people. It's not completely bad. The question is, are all these things in the interest of the masses? Defection, first and foremost, is in the interest of the people who are defecting. Are they doing it to help us? To a large extent, not so. But we believe that it shows that the government in power should do more. It shows that the government in power is not carrying them along. It shows that they should ask more questions on the part of government in power, so that what happened to PDP will not happen to them.
Okay. Are you looking at it that you are better positioned now to take the mantle, to lead us to the promised land?
Of course, you know, the PDP, I belong to PDP.
But this is not a platform for you to eulogize.
Yes. But you know, presently, Nigerians, we are in the street, listening to habit of Nigerians. We know what they're saying. PDP, presently we are in the gestation period. We are planning. By 2019, the party is going to take over the country and give Nigerians.
I don't know about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That has been talking, building the Nigeria of our dream. I want to say thank you very much for really joining us, Professor Obiajulu Obikeze.
I didn't tell you that I'm also the President General of my town, Awa.
Okay, you are the President General of Awa.
Okay.
This Awa, some people call it Awa. We want to say thank you very much for coming to this. Hopefully, we are going to bring you back to.
It's my pleasure. Anytime, any day, I'll be here. I would like to come.
I want to say thank you, Sir Chris Chikwelu Jr.
Thank you.
SSA to the chairman PDP of Anambra State. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Well, that's the much we have for you on these parts of our program. Good morning, Anambra.